What's up, y'all? You ever had your heart broken before? I had my heart broken before, I ain't gonna even lie, and it sucks. But it's also one of those things that every human being will go through and should go through because of the person that it makes you. So, today we're gonna talk about 5 major benefits of having your heart broken. Let's do it. The number one benefit of having your heart broken is that it helps you relate to the experience. You know, getting heartbroken is one of those things that you can't really put into words. Words don't really describe it accurately. You know, you just gotta kind of feel it. It's kind of like being on a roller coaster. You can't tell nobody how being on a roller coaster feels. You just gotta get on there and experience for yourself. I remember being a kid and listening to all these songs on the radio about people getting their heart broken. Baby, come back. Baby, don't leave me. Baby, I'm sorry. Yada, yada, yada. And I remember even back then, I used to jam along. I used to sing. But I didn't really understand the gravity of what they were saying until I went through the situation myself. Then I go back and listen to some of these same songs, and I'm listening to the words like, damn, brother, like that man really going through it, or that woman really going through it, because I can relate to the experience that much more. And that's how it is when it comes to heartbreak. Most humans on this earth, unfortunately, will go through that experience. And if you've been through it yourself, it just helps you relate to them better. I remember I used to have conversations with women, and they'd tell me about some dude that broke their heart. And I used to say the same cliche stuff that most dudes say, like, he don't know what he missing, baby. He didn't deserve you. It's all good. You gonna be alright. And all that stuff might have been true, but I could show very little empathy because I hadn't went through that situation. And these days, if I talk to a woman about, getting her heart broken, she feels it that much more because I know what I'm talking about because I've been through it. She like, okay, I see you, you got some experience with this. And so the connection is just that much more authentic. Back in my acting days, before I got behind the camera, before I had my heart broken, if I would have got a script that I needed to act like I was heartbroken, I would have did it, and I probably would have did it pretty good, But once I got the experience of having my heart broken, now if you give me a script, I kill it because I actually have something to pull from. I had that experience to relate to, and so that performance will come across way more authentic. Piggybacking off of that, if you're a creative person, maybe you act, maybe you do music, maybe you write, whatever the case may be, once you go through that experience of having your heart broken, it just helps you really connect with people on that level who went through it. Your lyrics are going to be that much stronger. Your acting is going to be that much more convincing because you lived through it. This ain't what somebody told you. This is what you know. This is what you experienced. And so all of that just means it's going to be way more authentic, way more genuine, and that means that people are going to feel it and relate to it a lot more. The number 2 benefit of having your heart broken, it just helps you be way more realistic. When you first start dealing with somebody and you liking them and you falling for them, that's that honeymoon period. Those first 6 months, it's all fresh, it's exciting. You want to do anything and everything for them. You start moving your priorities around. You just want to spend all kind of time with that person. And that could be dangerous, especially early on, because that's the honeymoon period and there's no guarantee that you guys are going to make it. But that's the period when people make the dumbest decisions when it comes to relationships. I used to know a guy, let's just call him Bob. Bob met this girl and, within 6 months, she had convinced him to co-sign for a car. She had convinced him to put all kind of money into her because he really thought they was going to be together. Of course, needless to say, it didn't work out. And Bob, to this day, still owes money from things that he did with her, and they don't even talk anymore. You don't want to be like Bob. Relating back to my own personal experience, I was in a pretty serious relationship with this woman a few years back, and she had 3 kids, and around that time I was just starting my business, so I had to put a lot of time and energy into my business, as you do when they're in the early stages. And anybody understands that you kind of have to sacrifice some personal things. You got to sacrifice personal time, you have to sacrifice your own money to make your dreams come true. And she didn't want me to sacrifice that stuff. She wanted me to sacrifice my dream in order to make things easier for her and her kids, you know, and she didn't want to sacrifice hers. One of the things that I was attracted to in her was that she had an entrepreneurial spirit as well, but she wasn't trying to budge on her dream. She wanted me to sacrifice mine so I can help her out with all these things. And me, because I was so into her like a dumbass, I actually thought about doing it. You know, and unfortunately things end up not working out and we broke up. And as soon as we broke up, I got so much clarity, because had I put my dreams on the back burner to kind of help her in her situation out, I would have regretted it forever. I mean, there's somebody who I didn't even make it a full 2 years with, and you know, I was thinking about making all these sacrifices and moving all my priorities around. So you really got to be careful in that honeymoon period, because you still have a lot to see and a lot to learn about that relationship before you go making life altering decisions for this person that you might not even end up being with. The third benefit of having your heart broken is that it creates space for new love. When you first going through that situation of a breakup and your heart broke, you don't think you're gonna ever find anybody else to make you happy. You don't think you're gonna ever feel like you felt about that person. You feel like life is over and it's just like, oh my God, baby, come back. Once you go through that situation, you do learn that you will find love again. One of the best things that God did was give us the ability and the capacity to love more than one person in a lifetime. And because of that, you will find somebody else that you like. You will find somebody else that you fall in love with. And that person might be better suited for you than the last person. It just doesn't seem like that at the time. The thing about falling in love and breaking up and falling in love again is that if you're doing it right, each time you get better. You get better at picking the mate. You get better at seeing the things that you do want and seeing the things that you won't tolerate. You get better at being able to put your finger on the pulse of that energy, of that vibe, of that compatibility, you know, if you're doing it right. So as time goes on, not only will your relationships hopefully get better and stronger because you learn how to pick them wiser, but you also learn that, you know, this is life. Things end. That's the cycle of life. Things begin, things grow, things die, and it starts over again. So by being able to create that space for new love, it gives you something to be hopeful for, and it gives you time to work on yourself so that you can be a better person. The fourth major benefit of getting your heart broken is gratitude. You just learn how to appreciate the process of meeting somebody, the process of getting to know them, of dating them, of seeing them starting to like you and starting to do things for you. You know, I'm 30 years old now, and in my early 20s, I wasn't really studying the process. I didn't appreciate the process of meeting a woman and talking to her and going through that whole courtship. I was only invested in the end game. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But after going through the situation, it just really helped me appreciate that entire process of meeting a woman and catching feelings for her and getting her to catch feelings for me, and seeing her start to do little things and sacrifice little things to make me happy, and watching myself do the same. And that's powerful, you know. You become more aware of it, and once you see it, you can really say, oh, I appreciate the gesture that this person made to make me happy. But before you get your heart broken, sometimes it's hard to see that. You know, it can kind of lead you to be ungrateful. I always tell people, especially guys, that if you're in a relationship and you're her first real relationship and you treat her too good, she's probably going to take it for granted just because she doesn't have anything to compare it to. She's never been through a situation where a guy treated her like shit, or where he didn't appreciate her, or where he did what he wanted to do, or just cheated on her, or whatever the case may be. Once she goes through a couple of bad relationships, then she starts to appreciate those things in the guy because she's seen the other side. So gratitude will do that to you. It'll help you appreciate the gestures. It'll help you appreciate the sacrifices and the moves that somebody is making to show you like, hey, I'm serious. This is the real deal and I want us to be together. You know, it's hard to see that before you've had your heart broken. Last but not least, the fifth benefit, and maybe even the biggest benefit of getting your heart broken, is that you learn to love yourself. You know, when you're going through that situation, if you're going through a rough breakup, especially if they break up with you, or if they leave you or cheat on you with somebody else, a lot of times you're going to get insecure. You're going to get low self-esteem. You're going to feel bad about yourself, and you're going to be wondering like, what did I do wrong? What do this other person that they left me for have that I don't have? And you got to get away from that immediately, because it's a very toxic way of thinking. Once you go through a heartbreaking situation, you learn that everybody isn't right for you. And that's okay, because more than likely there is somebody out there that is perfect for you. But first you got to learn how to love yourself. You have to learn how to look at your flaws and be able to be okay with that. Women are pros at doing this. Women do it all the time. You'll see a girl, she'll get out of a relationship, she start hitting the gym, she start eating right, she start getting her beauty sleep, she start studying more, she get a promotion in her job, she got a new haircut. She doing it big because she's taking that time to work on herself and make herself better. And that's really the secret. You get out of a relationship, don't go seeking validation or don't go seeking attention from somebody else to make yourself feel better. And I know that's going to be easier said than done, but at the end of the day, you need to take that time to work on you. Make yourself a better person and a better partner. If there are flaws that you have, be honest and be objective about that so that you can get to work on them. At the same time, don't beat yourself up about your flaws and feel too bad about them. Find you somebody that's going to love you for you. But first, you have to learn how to love you for you. And then you can just be yourself. That's the best thing about loving yourself, is that you can be yourself proudly. You don't have to try to put up a surrogate, put up a false person, a false persona to try to attract somebody, because when you do that, that's tiring. If you meet somebody on false pretenses and you're being a fake person to try to get somebody to like you, you're going to have to keep that up the entire relationship. And that's tiring. You know, you're going to be afraid that you're going to get exposed, as opposed to just being you, being proud, saying, I don't give a damn if they like me or not. I'm going to be me. You have way more peace of mind. The energy is way better. The vibe is way better. And that means 9 times out of 10, the relationship is going to be way better. Learning how to love yourself is a huge benefit. And in fact, you can't heal until you do learn how to love yourself. So those are 5 major benefits of having your heart broken. If you've recently had your heart broken, or you're going through a situation right now where your heart's broken, drop a comment. Let me know if you agree with what I'm saying or if you think I'm full of shit. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe. I'll be dropping Rogue Philosophy videos every week. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to seeing y'all next week. This is Rogue Philosophy.